I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. I am Amit, and normally we talk only about DC sports. Normally we talk about the Washington Commanders, and normally my co-host is Kadeen Wiggins. He is not here. Instead, there is Averie Collins, I'm so excited to have you on, Averie. I'm going to intro you as well. Sometimes there are certain sporting events that come up that are just too big not to talk about. So today's episode is about the Women's World Cup that is beginning in just a couple days over here. The final is on August 20th, takes place in New Zealand and Australia, and can be seen on Fox and can be seen on various apps and whatnot. But the U.S. women's national team, 4 stars over here, 4 championships, 4 world titles. They're going for number 5 and they're going for a three-peat. And so Averie over here is very qualified to talk about this because she is a former Washington Spirit player. She played at Stanford, national champion at Stanford. According to the Wikipedia page, 3-time Pac-12 champion as well. Maybe some honorable mentions in there as well, specifically an individual accolade for you there, Averie. I'm just excited to have you on, and thanks for taking the time here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk soccer, my favorite subject. So let's get to it.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, as I'd mentioned, the U.S. women's national team, they are going to be kicking off this Friday against Vietnam, 9 p.m. So that game is going to be easier to see. There's one at 3 a.m., but we'll get into all that stuff in a moment. But for this World Cup, again, going for the three-peat, they won in 2015. Okay. They won in 2019. Averie, there is a lot of roster turnover. I decided to look at the 2015 World Cup final. I looked at the 2019 World Cup final.
Yeah.
There were a few names that were consistent in those finals that started. Okay. We had Alex Morgan.
Okay.
Tobin Heath, Megan Rapinoe, Julie Ertz, Becky Sauerbrunn.
I thought Tobin Heath didn't make the roster.
So those were 2015 and 2019.
Oh, okay.
And then if you look at the Wales match that just occurred, only Alex Morgan started amongst that group. It's a brand new group, Averie. So what sort of impact do you think that these younger players will have and that the roster turnover is going to have in our quest for title number 5 over here?
I'm excited. I'm so excited to see new faces. I think just for the past few Olympics, World Cups, it's been the typical household names, the Alex Morgans, the Rapinoes. And rightfully so. They were playing, they were winning titles, but I'm so excited to see these young names, Sophia Smith, Trin, Sanchez. They're electric. They're kind of like a new wave of U.S. women's soccer. I think it's more creative. They're just dynamic. They're confident. If you've watched any of their interviews, they know they're the shit, and they are. So I'm so excited to see what they do. I'm going to say that I think the U.S. is going to win. So I think if these young players show up, I think they're playing top in their club. So I also think they're used to this kind of pressure. So I'm really not worried about them, honestly.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I actually got Rodman on the back over here.
That's what I'm saying.
She is my favorite player. I remember seeing her in the Challenge Cup when she was a rookie. And I think in the first 3 minutes, she had this goal. She took it off her thigh and just tapped it. And I was like, this girl's special.
This
girl's special.
Did you see her goals against Wales?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. And especially that second one. Where she just out muscles the defender and just curls it. Gorgeous. She made run after run after run. She was so open. She's a joy to watch. And so actually just talking about some of those younger players there, Averie, are there a couple in particular? You'd mentioned Sophia Smith, you'd mentioned Trinity Rodman, but are there a couple players in particular that you have your eye on and that we as fans should have our eye on for this?
As I mentioned, I love Sophia Smith. I'm excited to see her really play at the highest level. I think she was last 2022 MVP of the NWSL. She's leading the NWSL in goals right now. She's in top form, and I think she might have the golden boot of the tournament. So I'm really excited to watch her. Obviously, Trin. I think Trin's Wales performance might have bumped her up in stock. I hope to see her start. And then as far as the midfield, probably Ashley Sanchez.
Yeah,
I love the Spirit girls, so I'm just rooting for them.
I was going to say a couple of your former Spirit teammates
Yeah.
over there. And as a reminder, or maybe just news for some of you guys, so Trinity Rodman, Ashley Sanchez, Andi Sullivan, Aubrey Kingsbury are the Washington Spirit players that are going and are a part of this team. So yeah, I'm sure you'd be rooting for them, especially just a little bit extra having been teammates with them as well, of course, Averie.
It's always fun with your teammates. But so what is it? How many Washington Spirit players do you say? 4?
4.
And 5 of my Stanford friends are playing too. So that's pretty crazy. So
who are the 5 Stanford friends? Alana Cook is one of them, right?
Yeah. Alana Cook, Naomi Girma, Tierna, Kelley O'Hara, and then Sophia Smith.
My goodness. Okay, so you basically know the whole team.
Yeah, honestly, I'm very bummed. I should be going. Like,
should be going.
What a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, hey, maybe people enjoy the episode enough you can start a GoFundMe and they'll just send you over there.
Should I link my Venmo below?
Please do. Please do. We'll read it out in what we normally do is the comment mailbag, Averie. So we'll read that out. We'll read your Venmo information out for our next episode. Wow. Okay. So you have the Stanford alum that you know. There are also the Washington Spirit players that you know. Yeah. And now one of the questions I do have, Averie, is we've talked about a couple of the young players. We've talked about the turnover in the roster, but is there one player, maybe one group in particular where you go, hey, this team goes as player X goes, or this team goes as this group goes for you?
I hate to keep saying her name, but I think this team goes as Sophia Smith goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's just electric. She's like one of the best forwards I've watched in the recent years. I also think it's kind of going to be that younger crew. So her, Sanchez, Trin, I think if they can start to find some chemistry, Trin and Sanchez already have it, obviously from playing on the Spirit, but I'm really excited to see what that front 3 does, whether that's including Alex Morgan, whether it's shifting Trin to the 9. I mean, that's where we saw her in Wales and she just killed it. But yeah, I'm excited for the top 3.
Okay. Excited for the top 3.
And so what's your take? Let's hear you.
So, I mean, I'm obviously biased towards Trin. I don't know that she's going to start, to be honest, only because.
Who do you think is going to start in her place?
So I do think Alex Morgan is going to continue to start just because she brings So she brings that experience that I've been here before. You guys can rely on me and feed off of my own energy, so to speak. Up top, people will look to her as a leader. And then I would agree with you, though. I do think Sophia Smith is, because I remember watching the Spirit recently played the Portland Thorns, and this was just before the players went to camp for the national team. And Sophia Smith, it felt like we were watching Messi, where it was literally, she got the ball. It was one small mistake. I think Andi Sullivan, small giveaway, maybe a bad touch or something like that. And she just punished us. It was a goal. And she scored twice. And it was just one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, anytime she gets the ball, you're on the edge of your seat. You don't know that you can stop her. So on her day, I really like your take there of Sophia Smith. The only other name that I would have is probably Lindsay Horan, just because I think when she's on her day, she's able to make everyone around her better.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But yeah, having someone strong in the middle like Lindsay Horan, who is captaining the squad, I think would be my pick. So I'll go there just to be a bit different from you. How about that? Okay.
I have another question for you.
Sure. Go ahead, Averie.
You got to pick your starting 3 midfielders for the U.S. women's national team. Who would you pick?
And here I thought, now I need to give my own background. I don't have a Wikipedia page, so I guess I don't have that to go off of.
I'm hitting the hard hitters right here.
You are. And by the way, just for those that don't know, which is all of you, this was not discussed in the pre-show. So now this is all live. So my midfield 3, I'm biased towards Andi Sullivan, of course, for the Spirit. I would love to see that. I would love to see Ashley Sanchez, and I would love to see Lindsay Horan. I think that would be a lot of fun if I were to take my Spirit bias away.
Okay.
Horan, of course, has to be in there. I would, if Rose is healthy.
Oh.
I would go Rose.
Over Sanchez.
And I love Ashley Sanchez. But I think I would go Rose just because, again, it's another midfielder that's been there. They're so involved in the play and stuff like that. And And then I would still probably go Andi, though. I think Andi has this amazing way of dictating a rhythm and tempo of a game, making sure everyone's involved. It going laterally left and right, I have zero problem with that. I know some people are like, oh, she needs to keep pushing forward. I actually think she pushes forward a little too much when I'm watching the national team, and would love for her to settle things down because the spaces open up. Alyssa Thompson's dynamic, Sophia Smith's dynamic, Trinity Rodman's dynamic. Like we have players that can get in behind, no problem.
I think it's so funny. I always joke with all my friends who ever play the six is such a thankless job, right? But it's so integral. It's like people only call it the six when they think they're not doing well, or like good enough. So I always feel for the six. Okay, I have a hot take for my mid three.
Yes, go for it.
If I were to choose the middle three for the starting lineup, I think I would choose Andi. I would put Crystal Dunn and Sanchez.
Okay, so you're putting Crystal Dunn more attacking.
Yeah, I
love that.
Because I do agree with you, though. Lavelle and Sanchez are too much of the same player. I don't know if I would play them. I think they're more substitutes. But I would start Sanchez.
Wow. Okay. And so Crystal Dunn being more attacking instead of starting in defense, what makes you want to do that? Because I know she does that for the Thorns, but what makes you in particular watching Crystal Dunn want to see her in midfield? Because that would be cool.
Yeah. I love Crystal Dunn as a player. I think she's reads the game really well. I also think that because she already has a really good relationship with Sophia Smith, it's like, let's put them together. That's how I feel about Sanchez and Trin. It's like the more of those chemistry and relationships that you can play off of, I would do that. But I don't know who then I would put an outside back. So
you, I guess Sofia Huerta could potentially do it. So you do have a bias towards, hey, if you have club chemistry, why stop? Let's continue to build on that and use it at the national level.
I mean, I think that's what's going to make Sanchez, Andi, and Trin really successful in these positions. They know each other well. And that just gives the US a leg up going in, being so new, maybe haven't played with each other as much. It's like play on some of those club dynamics.
Got it. So we went through the midfield three that you would like, that I would like. Okay. How about the front three? How about the front three there? Because we did see Alyssa Thompson, electric 18-year-old, start on the left, and man, is she pacey, man, is she tricky, stuff like that. But then the game did change once Trinity Rodman came on. All of a sudden, things opened up more. So who would you like to see starting in your front three?
Okay, well, first, I think we got to say that Mal's injury. So Mal Swanson, for everyone who doesn't know, she just married Dansby Swanson, so baseball player.
Used to be Mallory Pugh. Yep.
Yeah. So she ended up tearing her ACL. She's probably looking in the best form. I think this is probably the injury that's hurting the U.S. women's national team the most. She was absolutely killing it. So her coming off, I think, though, now gives Trin the opportunity. So my starting top three would be Soph on the left, Alex Morgan up top, Trin on the right, or you could flop.
Okay. And so you would continue to also keep Alex Morgan starting.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need some of that leadership. I think she's proven herself. She's scoring goals. Yeah, I mean, I would put her at the 9.
Okay. Yeah, and she's also been, you talk about a thankless job, forwards and build-up play. I think she's very good at that. And when she is, it does open up those wings, just to your point. So, yeah.
Alex Morgan still has it.
She's a monster.
She's a monster. Yeah, I'm here for her.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, that would be the last name that has started 2015 World Cup final, 2019 World Cup final, and should we get there, the 2023 World Cup final. So on that point, which team represents the biggest obstacle to us for going for the three-peat here?
Okay, so this I'm actually going to have to lean on you. So I don't watch as much international soccer as I should, but I did look up some stats before I got here, so I have a bit of context.
Go for it.
England won the 2022 Euros. So England, Germany, it kind of always feels like it's one of those. England, Germany, Netherlands, one of those teams is always giving us a run for their money. But what's your take? Who do you think?
My take would be England. I know that they have a lot of injuries right now, but their talent pool is very, very deep. Lauren James is spectacular, and I don't know if you've had the chance to see her play. This is Reece James' sister, if you know Reece James from Chelsea. I mean, she's incredible. She can use both feet. You talk about Sophia Smith being dynamic, like that's almost there, Sophia, if you will. And she could play outside back. She does like the Crystal Dunn thing. She could play the outside back, but also can play on the wing. I don't know. I think she's very dangerous. She's one of those players that could just take a tournament over. And then yeah, Germany's good. What's up?
What do you think about Australia having the home advantage?
I'm not, for whatever reason, I don't put as much weight on home field advantage. I don't know why. Because I think you do see it, at least in the men's tournaments, for example, you may see teams qualify like in Korea, Japan, like both of them qualified when they for the round of 16 when they were hosting. And Germany was supposed to have a down year. They finished in third the year they hosted. I just, for whatever reason, don't see it. I think maybe the South Africa men's tournament was like, oh, okay, well, there's only so much magic, and then the class typically shines. But those would be the teams, and the team I personally love, Averie, Japan. I absolutely love watching Japan. Their pass and move. Oh my goodness, the way it's so quick.
Yeah, they're always very tactical.
Good. Yeah. Oh, I absolutely love them. They do.
Yeah,
they do.
So much bigger. So like you always see the U.S. women's national team being like way more physical, way more direct. But that's what I'm excited about this new generation, as I think we actually have really technical, really crafty players. Ashley Sanchez is just another example of that.
Yeah. Do you have actually on that note, do you have any sort of, I don't know if you could go anywhere with this, but any sort of stories from your time, either with the Spirit or with Stanford, with any of these players that are, going to be representing our country here?
I mean, I have so many stories. So many of those girls are my best friends. So Alana Cook is like one of my best friends from college. Mm-hmm. Her and Naomi Girma, they all played center back at Stanford together, which is also just hilarious. Like, talk about experience and knowing each other, playing 4 years in college. That's pretty cool. But no, they're just all great humans. So that's like what's also exciting about watching them. They're fun. They're joking. They're going to play loose. I think that's what I'm most excited about. Like Ashley Sanchez, Trin, Soph, like you see Trin out there and she's smiling, like she enjoys the game, and that's when you play best. So they have some swag that I'm excited for.
Yeah. Would you want to talk to us a little bit about that swag that you're referring to?
I don't know. Just attitude, like they're funny. They're quirky. Sanchez, I fucking love that girl. So yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. Once again, the Women's World Cup for the United States kicks off 9 p.m. this Friday against Vietnam. We then play July 26th at 9 p.m. I believe that is a Wednesday. That's going to be against the Netherlands. The Netherlands, I would have mentioned as a team that potentially is a threat. Yeah. They actually were runner-up the last time in the 2019 World Cup, but Viv Miedema, their forward, is not going to be participating this year because she's recovering from injury. I'm also an Arsenal women's fan, and so that injury hurt Arsenal quite a bit, and so she will not be participating. But we play them Wednesday, 9 p.m., and then Portugal, and that'll be the final group stage game, is August 1st, which I believe is a Tuesday at 3 a.m. though. So it's basically like a Monday late night game.
You'll be watching.
Obviously. No, have to for research purposes, of course.
So are you like a diehard fan? Will you stay up, watch all the games, or?
Yeah, World Cup is, it's once every 4 years. Why not? And then, you catch up on sleep when you need to. So yeah,
I love
it. Absolutely. But, Averie, do you have any more questions for me? I feel like, I asked you questions. It seemed like you had some questions for me. So I'll give you the opportunity here and you can take some time.
Yeah, let me think of a good question to ask you.
Sure.
Okay, I want you to go back to front. What's your starting 11?
Okay. So I would go Alyssa Nair in goal. I would go... I'm thinking about your midfield right now, which is why I'm tripped up, because initially I'm thinking Crystal Denver. I'm like, you know what?
She's fire. She's fire in the midfield.
She is fire in the midfield.
But you're a Horan fan, so
I do really like her, and I just, whenever I see her on the top of her game, I don't think anybody can stop her. Yeah. And so that makes her very trendy for me. I would go with, of course, Cook and Girma at center back. Those two are great together. They're very athletic also. And just like you said, have that understanding together. Emily Fox, I would go on one side. I'm thinking about the Crystal Dunn thing. I'm going to hold off on that for a moment. I'm going to go with Andi Sullivan. I'm going to go with, let's go Ashley Sanchez. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And And then it has to be Lindsay Horan. So yeah, then Crystal Dunn is going to be at outside back. I would go Trin one side.
Be on the field, man.
She has to. She has to. That is a non-negotiable. And then I go Trin. I go Sophia Smith on the wings. And then you have Alex Morgan up top. I think Alyssa Thompson could be electric off the bench.
Yeah.
I do think Vlatko had the right idea of, hey, we need to give her minutes and let's try starting her and just see what that looks like. I think we saw what it looked like. And I think she's still quite young. But man, if you give her a defense that's been trying to guard Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, Alex Morgan for an hour, and then she just gets to come on and do whatever she wants, it could be big problems. So what about you? You're starting 11.
I mean, I think you hit mine. Okay. The only other interesting one I might change is I might start Emily Sonnett as a center back.
Emily Sonnett as a center back. She was terrific for the Spirit, by the way. The moment she arrived, we just win a championship, which you're also an NWSL champion, I believe. Is that correct? Okay. And missed that in the intro.
Sonnett is actually fabulous at a center back, but they always on the U.S. women's national team try to put her at the outside back. But I might put her as a starting center back. I don't know who I would swap then, so that's hard.
You're benching another teammate of yours from the past.
I know, so I almost can't say anything. It feels rude. But yeah, I do love Sonnett in the center as well. I don't know who my outside backs, but otherwise forward, I guess I put Crystal in the middle, huh? Okay, so let's say I put Aubrey Bledsoe as starting goalkeeper.
Of course.
Go Spirit girls.
Of course, got to.
Okay, so let's say I go Alana, Naomi center backs.
Okay.
It's hard because I want to put Tierna outside back, but I haven't seen her play in a while.
Okay.
I want to put all my Stanford friends on there.
Yeah.
Tierna, I'm putting Emily Fox, Andi, Crystal, Sanchez, Sophia Smith, Alex Morgan.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm trying to think. For some reason, I'm forgetting if Tierna. If I saw Tierna's name, she's on the roster. Yeah. I'm
actually putting Kelley O'Hara outside back.
You're putting Kelley O'Hara outside back. Yeah. Another former teammate of yours in that case, because they were part of the championship run. Actually, before we run off, just a question for you. And thanks for everyone who's still watching this. What was that championship run like? Like, because you get drafted, your second round, 17 overall, if I remember correctly. And that was the 2020 draft. And that was during sort of that COVID period. Was that the same year Trinity Rodman was a rookie as well? Or was that the year after? I can't recall.
No. So that was actually, we won it 2022.
You won in 2022, right?
We won in 2022. I actually tore my ACL that year though. So I was out.
Okay.
But the run was, I mean, it's just like any team. It's like you start to build momentum through the season. You're like, damn, we're actually pretty good. We're pretty good. We're pretty good. But I think that what was really successful about that season is it's chemistry, right? Like we had Emily, we had Sonnett, and we had O'Hara, and they were just great leaders. Like they were really good at bridging the gap between like the young girls and that experience. Kelley O'Hara is one of the best competitors I've ever played with. She brings a grit that I've never seen someone. That's why I would put her in my starting lineup, because just that intensity, that experience that she brings, like she holds herself, but also everybody else to like this standard that is like, let's be excellent. Right. And she does it in a really positive way. But I think just having that leadership and like bringing the younger players under her wing and just kind of like molding the team, that's really what made us successful.
Wow. Yeah. And that is, I'm really glad you hit on that point, because I think a lot of times when people think about lineups, when they think about athletes in general, they think less about the human side of things and much more what are they capable of doing skill wise on the field, stuff like that. It would be amazing to play sort of fantasy soccer, fantasy football that way, but the leadership that matters. The ability to lift teammates up in tough moments, that matters.
Just
not to mention she's a baller anyway, but my goodness. Okay. That is super cool.
Honestly, that makes me think twice about you saying like bringing Horan into the middle, like having someone who's been there, who's been in that position, who's led that team kind of in that central position is also important, which I think is what makes Andi really good. Is she's a great communicator, right? Like she's like a leader, which I think would maybe piggyback onto Becky Sauerbrunn being hurt. Like that's a huge loss.
Yes. Good point. Yeah. Good point, man. Yeah. And I don't remember if it was a torn ACL, but it was something bad. She's definitely older at this point, but yeah, she had started the last two World Cups.
Yeah.
And missing that is obviously, it is a golden opportunity though for Alana Cook and Naomi Girma.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I think they'll do well with it. So no worries there.
Well, yeah. And once again, the World Cup is kicking off in a matter of days here. And this was District Divided, DC Sports Podcast. And this time covering the Women's World Cup with a U.S. Women's National Team preview with Averie Collins. Averie, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And for everybody else, if you enjoyed today's episode, please like the video, please share the video with friends, and please subscribe to the channel. It would really appreciate it. And then, of course, leave your comments. So something we do, Averie, Kate and my other co-host, we talk about the Commanders. We have something called a comment mailbag. So anytime someone leaves a comment, we read it out and then we actually interact with the comment in the next episode. So which is why I said drop your Venmo, because we will read your Venmo out for the next episode. And you can just see if you get $1 or something like that.
$500. Come on, I got a ticket.
What? Boom. There we go. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much for listening. And we normally drop Fridays 2 p.m. So until then, take it easy. Thanks, everyone.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.